Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Despite the devastating social and economic consequences brought by the COVID-19 pandemic, the Economic Community of West African State Parliamentarians have opened its visual 2020 second ordinary session to consider the 2021 community's budget while seeking better ways to avert hardship across member countries. At the opening of the visual conference on Wednesday, Speaker of the Parliament Sidi Tunis said, with the new strains of the virus discovered, bringing the pandemic under control has become challenging to member states, whereas projecting more stringent measures to curtail further spread of the virus. Still speaking, Tunis reiterates that as a parliamentarian, they must view the challenges brought by the COVID-19 as an opportunity to advance and make a positive impact in the regional economy for the well-being of the citizens.
As provided for by the Supplementary Act, much as we had hoped to meet in person, our singular most important and powerful enemy has again denied us the pleasantries that goes with meeting together. The pandemic still lingers and is having devastating social and economic consequences on our citizens. States across the region and the world are recording more cases, and unfortunately, new strains of the virus are being discovered, making it difficult to bring the pandemic under control. Regulations and restrictions previously imposed and relaxed are being reinforced. If the current trend continues, we are likely to see the imposition of more stringent measures aimed at curtailing the spread of the virus. While we celebrate the development of vaccines, I see we should call on our citizens to avoid complacency and continue to observe all the existing health protocols. These protocols, which include the constant washing of hands under running water, wearing of face masks, maintaining social distance and respiratory hygiene, have proven very effective in curbing the spread of the disease, and we must continue to practice them at all times.
Giving insight into the session, tagged Budget Session, the Speaker noted that, in accordance with provisions of the Supplementary Act for Parliament to consider the community's budget, they are expected to ensure that members' estimates are directed towards programs that address the needs of the people, stressing that, in fulfillment of these statutory responsibilities, they are to render opinion, where necessary, proposals for the amendment of the draft community budget, noting that their consideration of the budget is key considering the worst global pandemic in the century.
This session, otherwise known as the Budget Session, provides an opportunity in the provisions of the Supplementary Act for Parliament to consider the community's budget. Specifically, the Parliament is expected to ensure that the estimates are directed towards programs that address the needs of our people. Here, I make specific reference to Article 17.2a, which states that the consideration of the budget by the Administration and Finance Committee, AFC, of the AFC on the budget shall be presented to Parliament during the parliamentary budget session. In fulfillment of this statutory responsibility, we are expected to render opinion, including where necessary proposals for the amendment to the draft community budget. Let us be reminded in our consideration of the budget that we are now responding to the worst global pandemic in a century. We live in an era of great uncertainty and increasing risk. Overcoming these challenges in the interest of our fellow citizens should be our major priority. It is also not enough that the budget surmounts the immediate threats brought upon us by COVID-19. It should also advance efforts to progress on other fronts and priorities our region continues to value: democracy, rule of law, peace and conflict resolution, the fight against poverty reduction, and climate change. These are our missions, and we must seek to deliver on them.
Meanwhile, Other highlights to be considered in this visual session is the presentation of the strategic plan of the 5th Legislature 2020 to 2024 of the Ecowas Parliament. This document, which will be guided by the provisions of the Community Strategic Framework CSF 2016 to 2020 and the current Ecowas Vision 2020, identifies program areas with the themes and priorities that would systematically assist the Parliament in executing its mandates, as defined by the Supplementary Acts. Even as the Parliament will be taken into an account in the year 2021 and beyond, the fundamental purpose for which the Ecowas Parliament was established by judiciously executing the critical role spelled out by the Supplementary Acts, while building a reputable community that is driven by peace, security, good governance, gender equity, and human rights. Vincent Okushi, reporting for Quality Television.
Audio Jungle.